Hi everyone, welcome to My Pet Pigeon. My name is Melissa, and in this video I want to talk to you about how to bond with your pigeon. So this is Rose. Rose is my fantail pigeon, and she came to me as a solo pigeon in my front yard who was desperately in need of rescue, and so we took her in and we learned all about pigeons, and now I'm sharing that with you. So it's going to depend on if you have one pigeon that you're rescuing from outside, or if you're going to adopt one, or if you're going to adopt two that are already married. Remember, every pigeon has their own personality and they have their own history. But in general, there are some things that you can do to bond with your pigeon when you get them home and you want them to become either your best friend or just comfortable with you, going into their cage and taking care of their needs. So Rose here is a female pigeon, and she took about a couple of months to fully bond with me, but she was friendly right from the start. And what I mean by that is she didn't show any signs of being afraid of humans in general. In fact, when she was still outside, she flew right towards us and was hoping that some human would understand that she needed help. So because she's always been a house bird, most likely, and understands humans are her friends. So again, every pigeon has their story, and you need to kind of ideally know the background of your pigeon. It can take weeks to months for a bonding or a trusting relationship to really happen. And of course, if you have a male and a female pair of pigeons that are married, they're not necessarily going to bond with you as a mate, like Rose has done with me, and I'm officially her husband, which means I have some duties to help her out with when she's sitting on her eggs and stuff. Okay, so let's just get to it. The first thing that you can do when you get your pigeon inside your home is, of course, ideally have its cage all set up and ready to go. And then if it's acting at all terrified of you, the best thing that you can do is just let it stay in its cage and just sit or stand, whatever, get as close as you can to the cage without it acting terrified. And just talk to it, read to it, let it hear your voice, let it get used to the sounds of your home, whether that's the dishwasher or the TV or other people who live there and are chit-chatting. Because, of course, they need to get used to their new environment, just like any other animal that you bring home. So when we first got Rose, we just mostly let her stay inside of her cage, A, because we didn't really know what else to do with her, since we were new to birds, and B, because we just felt like she would feel safest in that enclosure, so that, again, she can get used to the sounds of my screaming children and the stomping and the laughter and the noises that we make as a family. And she would hopefully not feel threatened if we were trying to invade her space. Now, something you need to know about pigeons, and this is pretty much true for all of them, is they see their cage as... Hold on a second. Okay. Pigeons see their cage as their territory. It's almost like a teenager in their bedroom, right? Like, keep out. They don't want anyone coming in unless you're specifically invited in. So pigeons are protective of their cage. And so the best way to bond with them is to ideally take them outside of their cage. If they seem to struggle or fight with you picking them up or holding them, then you can wrap them in a little tea towel or hand towel, like a little pigeon burrito. And that way they can't really struggle too much and hurt themselves or you. And then you can hold them in your lap and just stroke their head and talk gently to them and tell them how much you love them. And they will ideally, over time, again, everything takes time, they can get used to the idea that humans are gentle and they can trust you, and that it might actually be worth their while to let you pick them up and pet them and give them attention. Isn't that the prettiest butt you've ever seen? If it's really hard to clean their cage because they're attacking you so much, then it's best if you just take them out of the cage any way you can without harming them. so that you could get in there and clean it up and give them fresh food and water and that kind of care stuff. And then you can put them back in their cage when you're done. Another way you can gain trust with your pigeon is to feed them by hand. So if you put certain foods in their cage that are considered pigeon treats, you can see which ones they might prefer or really love in general. And then you can use those as kind of a bribe to let you pet them or, train them to do things. Some examples of pigeon treats are unsalted chopped peanuts, or dark leafy greens, or maybe some chopped red peppers, or thawed out frozen peas, or things that you don't typically find in their seed mix. Although pigeons typically also really just go crazy for the safflower seeds, which are the little white ones in their seed mix. A great way to get them to trust your hands as their friend is to feed them out of your hand. And so once you know what kind of treats they really like, then you can put those treats in your hand and try to feed them with your hand, and they'll get used to your hand that way. It's funny, but some pigeons don't understand that a person's hand is attached to their head and attached to their body. So they might be friendly to your hand but get mad at your head, or they might be friendly to your head and body but get mad at your hand. And feet are also sometimes involved in pigeon relationships. So you just have to kind of work with what your pigeon feels comfortable with. So to reiterate, it can take weeks to months to bond with your pigeon. Everything is going to be dependent on what they were used to before you adopted them and what kind of trust they had with their previous human companions. It also depends on if you have a single pigeon, that males are going to behave differently than females. And if you adopt a married couple or a whole flock, then obviously that changes all the kind of bonding patterns as well. And a married couple of pigeons may never even necessarily care about the humans in the house at all, whereas a single pigeon most definitely needs to get interaction with the humans that are in the house, because you are their flock, you are potentially their mate, and that is vital to their health. So you need to make sure that you bond with them if they're a single pigeon, as much as they're letting you do. And just watch your relationship bloom and have fun and be kind to them, and understanding that they need to learn how it works just like you need to learn all about how pigeons work. And I guarantee you're going to love having pigeons, and it's super fun and rewarding. Hi guys, thanks for watching my video all the way to the end. You're the greatest people who love pigeons and want to help them out. So if you like this video, if you found it helpful, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Give it a great thumbs up and comment with your questions or ideas or anything you have in mind. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.